I read a local news story from 2 days ago today, and it left me with more questions than it provided answers, which is typical of local news anyways. But I'm going to read it to you. Woman rescued from woods during storm in Youngstown. Youngstown, Ohio, WKBN reports said that a woman and her dog out for a walk on Thursday evening got caught in a heavy rain and had to have firefighters come to get them. The woman called 911 at about 8:35 and said she and her dog were in a wooded area between Powers Way and Pine Hollow Drive and was stuck, was stuck in a, yeah, I guess that makes sense, in a cave filling with water and could not get out. Stuck in a cave filling with water and could not get out. The woman told 911 dispatchers that she did not know exactly where she was. When crews arrived on the scene, they began searching for her. Firefighters eventually heard her dog and followed the sound of the barking dog to a small cavity in a rock on an incline in the 9000 block of Poland Avenue. Although the woman did not appear to be in any immediate danger, reports noted that a nearby creek was filling with water and she would not be able to cross it. Additionally, the water was moving too fast for firefighters to attempt a rescue, the report said. A ladder was lowered and the woman and her dog were able to get out to the top of the ravine. The woman said she was not injured and she was still examined by paramedics, reports said. But she was still examined. Hard to believe. Hard to believe because I'm in the exact spot described by the story. As a matter of fact, this is 9000 Poland Avenue. This is the Powers Way Bridge. Up there is Pine Hollow Drive. Okay. So I'd imagine this road might have been her ingress point prior to the storm. Walking her dog. I don't know. It's kind of temperate that day. I don't know if I'd be walking my dog off the beaten path if I was a housed individual. This is the second time in note of recent history, to my mind, where people have had to have fire crews rescue them. The only caves I know of are upstream and quite up the hill, and I don't see any way that anybody would be able to get up to that and not be able to get out. That being said, I've been tramping around this wooded area probably better part of 35 years, and I know it like the back of my hand, to the point where this is the way that I come down to insert my kayak on the Mahoning River downstream, if you've seen any of those videos. So this little access road where tracked vehicles come through, it terminates at Pine Hollow Creek. It's not too far up ahead. I'll put it on pause and I'll pick back up. Before I pick back up down there, I will say that there is a significant amount of footprints. If I had to gauge this one, I'd say it's about, a woman's size 7 going in that direction, or a boy's probably size 8, but as things go, it's not unlikely that people would be traveling down this path. I guess I might as well just keep it rolling. I don't see any dog footprints though. Of course, with that recent rain, and it was pretty good, significant downpour, those might all be washed away. So this tracked vehicle access road terminates here in the creek, and then a tracked vehicle can go up in that direction, you know, to clear debris and debris and anything that may accumulate trash in the creek to keep it flowing. But it is not typical of things to build up too much to where it wouldn't flow. It's more typical downstream, where there's a grate that goes into a 10-foot sewer pipe. So pretty easily navigable when it's not raining. If it had just started to rain and she was coming up this way, I could see her crossing the creek because the story said that she was not able to cross back and fire crews weren't even able to cross over. So I can't tell, but I don't think they took that access road. I don't see any ruts or anything. I would imagine they stuck to the main road up there, Powers Way, and possibly Pine Hollow Drive. Location likely pinged off of a cell phone, probably an Obama phone. I can't see a housed individual necessarily local to this area, not being familiar enough with it to get out the same way they came in. There's a certain thing, I know Norm Macdonald made a joke about it decades ago, about homeless people with a dog. When he was living in New York, he saw a homeless guy with a dog, and he was like, a dog could probably do better just on its own. But there is a high trend, especially when panhandling, for homeless people to have a dog, because people tend to feel more sympathy for a dog than a human being. Says something about us. But this is the exact area described in the story, and again, there's caves up that way, but they are so high up on the incline they wouldn't fill with water. I think that was an exaggeration on her part, that she was in a cave, but they did find the dog underneath rocks, according to the story. Now, the only place I know where there's rocks for someone to possibly be under, on that side of the creek, which I doubt, but up here there's a little collection of them where I guess a dog or maybe a huddled person could squeeze under. Not there. I think just over on this side of this fallen tree. But again, I'm more familiar with this area. There's a lot of trash down here too. People tend to throw it over the bridge and it washes down. Whole couches even. Tires especially, as noted. Yeah, lots of trash washes down that way from people littering. So right here I could see potentially a dog being huddled under. But not knowing where she is, I could see not being able to cross the creek in the storm and get out that way. But these are not exactly unnavigable. And there's literally a neighborhood right up there. So, is it an emergency situation? I can't place myself in her mind, but I would not conclude as such. I would say that's a woman who doesn't have a man in her life, or at least anybody else to tell her not to go out in the storm walking the dog. Conversely, men need women in their life to tell them not to do stupid things. Actually, women need men more to tell them not to do stupid things. Men need women to tell them to do things. Otherwise, we'd still be living in caves. Yeah, this is not exactly, well, it is a decent grade. It's not exactly so hard to travel, maybe in the rain, that you can't extricate yourself on foot. Now again, I'm just walking straight up this hill. I should probably be zigzagging with the grade, leaning into it. This little washout's going to provide me more flat footing. But again, while it's not raining, I don't necessarily see this as an emergency situation requiring 911 and a fire rescue team. Because again, that wooded area between Powers Way and Pine Hollow Drive as described in the story, is so close to that creek As long as you don't panic, you're in civilization.